Hello everybody, Rustbelt Perspective here. Please scroll down and subscribe to me real quick. Today is March 15th, 2023, and today we're going to be talking about the uh, Louisiana gubernatorial election that's set to take place later this year. It's one of three governor races that is going to be happening in the United States, at least in the actual states this year. The other two being Kentucky and Mississippi. I covered Kentucky a few days ago, and I plan to cover Mississippi in the upcoming days. But today, the focus is on Louisiana. Now, Louisiana here, very much a Republican state. It has been these past few decades. You go back to 2000. You see, it's Bush won it by 7, Bush won it by 14, and then it's been a safe red state ever since. It's on the nationwide level, it's never really been a competitive state for the Democrats. It's always been a Republican stronghold. If you want to break it down, you'll see when Bush won it by 7.7, you see some blue and red on the map, more red than blue. But then it goes from 2000 to 2004. A lot of that blue goes away and it becomes a lot more red. 2008 comes around, and despite the blue wave here, it gets even more red. 2012, it barely changes. 2016, it gets even more red with Donald Trump taking over Republican. And in 2020, it really doesn't change much, even with Donald Trump's unpopularity. So it has very much been a Republican stronghold these last few decades. That being said, their incumbent governor is John Bel Edwards, a two-term incumbent. He is a Democrat. If you look at the gubernatorial races, he was first elected back in 2015 by 12 points. And then 4 years later, he won re-election by two, almost 3 points. And he is term limited in 2023. You cannot serve 3 consecutive terms as per Louisiana law. So he is done after this term, at least for this upcoming term. And he's popular. He is considered a conservative Democrat, as you can see right here. He appeals to the bipartisanship of Louisiana. He makes it to where there are a lot of moderate conservatives that are happy to cross over and vote for him. That is how he has been able to win twice. And coming into the 2023 race for the governor race, you look at it, and a popular candidate for the Republican side was John Kennedy. He is a U.S. Senator from Louisiana, and he declined to run, which is a bummer for the Louisiana Republicans, because he could have wiped the floor with anybody who dared challenge him in Louisiana. But now, looking at the Republican candidates that did declare in the red state, most notably you have Jeff Landry, the Attorney General of Louisiana. Of course, that is one of the highest up elected offices statewide, aside from governor, lieutenant governor, and what's the other one? Secretary of State. So yeah, Jeff Landry, Republican. He is a front runner, and if you look down to endorsements, he has been endorsed by multiple U.S. representatives from Louisiana, as well as Donald Trump Jr., for what that's worth. The Democrats, they have had 2 people declare. One is a pastor named Danny Cole. The other, Sean Wilson. He is the former secretary of the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development. And he is definitely the Democrats' frontrunner. He has the endorsement of popular governor John Bel Edwards. So it makes for an interesting election here. The major political sources are predicting that it will go back to the Republicans. But with the lean Republican characterization, it is still competitive, according to them. It's interesting. And if you look at the hypothetical polling, again, I talked about how it was a bummer for the Republicans that John Kennedy is not running. You can see why right here. He wins these polls that he's included in big time. He crushes anybody who dare challenge him. But he wants to remain in the U.S. Senate, so we have to. So the Republicans are looking elsewhere to Jeff Landry, most likely. And you look at some Louisiana polls. Landry crushes any other Republican in the one-on-one Republican polls here, and you see Kennedy again. He crushes anybody as well, but he even crushed Landry here. But again, Kennedy is not running. And you look at the open poll here. Landry he barely wins. He only has 3 points more than Chambers, the Democrat. Wilson, though, is very low. So it calls for an interesting 2023 when you look at how divided this is. And another thing to take into account is that Louisiana does not just have a simple plurality election system. They have a jungle primary system, and there is a runoff election based on the top two candidates. For example, here back in 2019, the most recent election, you had incumbent Governor Edwards, you had his challenger Eddie Rispone, I hope I said that right, and then you had Ralph Abraham. And you see that all three of them did get a good amount of votes in the initial election, but none of them got the majority. So the top two candidates, Edwards and Rispone, advanced to the general election, where Edwards narrowly won. Or not the general election, the runoff election, where Edwards narrowly won. So definitely calls for an interesting 2023. A lot of people think that it will. A lot of the major political sources, I should say, do believe this is a election that will go back to the Republicans, and polls are definitely indicating as such right now. But it's definitely interesting. It's one of the 3 races we have to look at here, and for this cycle anyway in 2023. And it, at the very least, is competitive. You know, you can't count the Democrats out. They do hold the governor's mansion at the moment. And you can't count the Republicans out either, because this is, again, a Republican state. So it definitely calls for an interesting election, and that's pretty much all I have to say. So, yeah, please like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments, what do you think? This is Rust Belt Perspective, signing out.